evening, everybody. We are already running late in time, so without any delay, and thanking the organizers and the sponsors for this session, I'll straight away start with my presentation of next generation calcium channel blockers for cardiorenal protection. This is my topic today. So we all know that the hazards of suboptimal BP control is exponentially increasing risk of cardiovascular death, and by reducing hypertension to the target level, we can reduce stroke, MI, and heart failure by a huge percentage, and can reduce the cardiovascular death. And possibly hypertension is the sole risk factor that is attributable to the maximum number of deaths worldwide, and it's also the second leading cause of kidney failure. So while choosing antihypertensive drug, not only reaching the target goal of blood pressure, but also producing or giving cardioprotection to the patient or additional renoprotective action should also be kept in mind. And among the drug classes, antihypertensive agents, only the RAS inhibitors, that is ACE inhibitor, ARB, and calcium channel blockers have shown renoprotection as well as cardioprotection. But there are some gaps in the therapy of hypertension with calcium channel blockers. As we all know, the age-old L-type calcium channel blocker, the vascular selective, which is amlodipine or nifedipine, though it is widely used, it is almost the workhorse calcium channel molecule, but it has got some shortcomings in terms of inadequate renal protection, that amlodipine does not prevent the progressive glomerular hypertension. Inadequate reduction in the proteinuria, rather long-term amlodipine might slightly increase the risk of proteinuria by increasing the intraglomerular pressure. Progressive renal parenchymal fibrosis due to increased activation of the RAS system, progressive hypertrophy fibrosis in the renal vasculature, and increase in the plasma renin and aldosterone levels, which in the long term may lead to adverse neurohumoral activation and adverse cardiovascular outcomes. Inadequate cardiac protection also, because there is a vasodilatation with the L-type calcium channel blockers that can produce reflex tachycardia, which may be detrimental in patients having pre-existing cardiovascular disease, mainly in the heart failure patients. Inadequate correction of myocardial ischemia. There is a persistent risk of arrhythmia and hypertrophy and rebounding because of increase in the renin and aldosterone that may be associated with long-term use of dihydropyridine calcium channel blockers. Also, they do not show any antiplatelet action. Inadequate vascular protection, because there has been evidences of accelerated atherosclerosis or some degrees of reactive oxygen species mediated vascular damage that is not adequately protected by calcium channel blockers, and no protection from progressive decline in cognition. And some CCBs have also shown slight decrease in the cerebral perfusion pressure, and that can lead to cognitive decline. And also there are distressing and common side effects that we encounter, which are peripheral edema, constipation, flushing, palpitations, and tachycardia. So there is also always a search for a better molecule or better calcium channel blocker that will not only show robust antihypertensive property, but also bridge these gaps that are present in therapy with existing calcium channel blockers. And in the last few years, maybe in last decade or so, we have got some newer molecules with some beautiful mechanism of action acting through different calcium channels other than L-type calcium channels that can tide over these gaps in therapy with conventional CCBs. As we all know, the workplace of CCBs is the calcium channels. Mainly 6 types of calcium channels are there, but the main target for BP regulation is L-type, that is the vascular type of calcium channel, the N-type, which is the neural type, mainly present in the brain and the peripheral nervous system, both CNS, PNS, reducing that causes the sympathetic regulation and release of norepinephrine from the sympathetic nerve endings, and the T-type calcium channels, which are abundant in various body tissues, including kidneys, including heart, vessels, as well as the suprarenal gland. So type of calcium channels and their distribution, if you look at this briefly, the neuronal channels which are present in throughout the brain and the peripheral nervous system. The T-type or the transiently acting calcium channels are present in kidney, both in afferent, efferent arterioles, distal collecting duct and collecting tubules, adrenal glands, and they are dominantly present in kidney, adrenal gland, heart, and vascular smooth muscles. Among the calcium channel blockers, these are the generations of CCBs. As we know that, among the first generation, that was nifedipine, which was a short-acting CCB, has got numerous side effects like palpitation, tachycardia. Amlodipine, azilnidipine is the third generation CCB. Amlodipine primarily L-type calcium channel blockade. Cilnidipine is the fourth generation calcium channel blocker, which has got both L type as well as the neuronal type or the N type calcium channel blockade property, and thereby it reduces the plasma norepinephrine level, and it reduces the chances of norepinephrine mediated sympathetic surge that may be beneficial from the cardiovascular and renal continuum axis. The heart rate is also reduced with cilnidipine therapy. So it's a unique molecule that blocks both the N and T type calcium channel blockers, and it inhibits the release of norepinephrine from the sympathetic nerve endings. So it attenuates the L type calcium channel mediated vasodilation related reflex tachycardia. The vasodilation is present, but the reflex tachycardia that is produced by this vasodilation with L-type channel blockers is blocked by N-type channel blockers by cilnidipine. Also, the calcium channels in the kidney, if you look at this diagram, we can understand that in afferent arteriole, there is presence of only the N-type and the L-type calcium, N, L and N-type, T-type calcium channel blockers, whereas in the efferent arterioles, there is presence of only N and T-type calcium channel blockers. So, amlodipine or the only L-type calcium channel blockers causes isolated dilatation of the afferent arteriole, thereby causes intraglomerular hypertension. Whereas cilnidipine, by blocking both L and N-type calcium channel blockers, it causes a balanced dilatation of the afferent and the efferent arteriole, thereby preventing this intraglomerular hypertension, and in turn, it reduces the proteinuria and retards the progression of the renal injury. Also, by reducing the intraglomerular hypertension, it prevents the direct podocytic injury and prevents the glomerulosclerosis that is present in hypertensive kidney damage. So, divergent action on the renal microvessels. L-type preferentially dilates the arterioles, the same thing that I have discussed, whereas the L-type CCBs favor an increase in the glomerular capillary pressure. The L and T type, or the L and L type, which is the cilnidipine, and the L and T type is ifosfamidipine or azilnidipine, that is also available in Indian market nowadays, alleviates this glomerular hypertension, thereby exerts a renoprotective property. So that this you can see that pure L-type calcium channel blockers only acts on the vessels, thereby counteracting the vasoconstriction and causing vasodilatation, whereas cilnidipine, by acting on the peripheral nerve endings or the sympathetic nerve endings, it also attenuates the norepinephrine release from the sympathetic nerve ending, thereby acting on the vascular adrenoceptors, causing vasodilatation. It acts on the heart, thereby reducing the cardiac contraction, and it prevents the increase in the heart rate, and in kidney it reduces the renal blood flow and renin secretion. If you see the hemodynamic effects of cilnidipine in comparison to other CCBs, it has got a neutral effect on the heart rate and the LV DPDT, that is the cardiac contractility, whereas both is increased in cases of amlodipine therapy, and both increase in the heart rate and the cardiac contractility is detrimental in patients having ischemia, background ischemia, or heart failure. Also, the stroke work index is reduced with cilnidipine therapy, and the right atrial pressure is somewhat increased with cilnidipine therapy. So all these are having favorable cardiac parameters with cilnidipine therapy that is not present with amlodipine. Cilnidipine also has got a protective effect on the podocytic injury that I have already told, and it prevents the development of proteinuria by preventing podocyte damage. It reduces the angiotensin II induced oxidative stress, direct antioxidant property in the podocytes, and it also suppresses the reflex sympathetic hyperactivity. It also suppresses the RAS activation. So by various modality of action in the final common pathway, it prevents the kidney damage. Amlodipine has got few limitations that we all know, because they are powerful BP lowering agents. It also causes reflex sympathetic nervous system activity, causing tachycardia and thereby increasing the incidence of cardiac events. And the same limitation that we have discussed, that it increases, causes dilatation of predominantly the afferent arteriole in the kidney, thereby causing glomerular hypertension and proteinuria. And the ARC study also suggested the same thing, that there is a risk of progressive renal function deterioration due to amlodipine administration. And as we all know, much higher chance of peripheral edema with amlodipine. And that can be counteracted with cilnidipine therapy, as it has been proven with the Carter study, particularly in the renal disease patients, where it was amlodipine as cilnidipine was compared with vis-a-vis amlodipine, that showed that cilnidipine exerted a much greater proteinuric effect than amlodipine with a almost comparable BP lowering efficacy. Other study, the Kyoto study, was a big study that also shown that changes in the serum creatinine over time or reduction in the proteinuria is statistically significant with cilnidipine therapy in combination with amlodipine. Cilnidipine also showed a heart rate reducing effect that is not present with amlodipine, so it prevents the reflex tachycardia. Tactical study, the same study that showed renoprotective effect of amlodipine, and cilnidipine showed greater renoprotective effect. Also, it has got a hyper, uricosuric property, thereby reduces the uric acid level, which is also a marker of endothelial dysfunction and cause endothelial dysfunction. So in conclusion, it offers significant podocyte protection, contributes to anti-proteinuric effect. Cilnidipine has also got beneficial effect in heart rate and QT interval during dialysis. As we all know that dialysis patients has got a higher risk of sudden cardiac death in comparison to patients who are not on hemodialysis, and QT intervals in hemodialysis patients are usually longer than that of the general population. Cilnidipine may have got beneficial effects in reducing cardiovascular events resulting from increased SNS activity and arrhythmias in the hemodialysis patient. So patients who are on renal replacement therapy, because calcium channel blockers is one of the very important cornerstone in the management of hypertension in that group of the patient, cilnidipine may show better cardiovascular profile and reduction of the sudden cardiac death in that subgroup of the patients, and it's a better choice than amlodipine. So in summary, the same thing that we have discussed, it offers a greater reduction in proteinuria, offers a higher antioxidant property, has got a uricosuric property and greater renoprotective effect than amlodipine. Effective hypertension control with OD doses, the side effects like pedal edema or flushing, constipation, it is much less than that of amlodipine, and there are negligible changes in the heart rate. Next, after this L-type calcium channel blocker, I will briefly discuss the newer other calcium channel blockers which are available in the Indian market, that includes L and T-type calcium channel blockers, that which acts on the, along with L-type, the T-type also, that is ifosfamidipine and the azelnidipine, which also has got various pleiotropic benefit due to blockade of the T-type calcium channels. As we know that these T-types are abundant in the adrenal medulla, and these T-type calcium channels, they are responsible primarily for the aldosterone synthesis and secretion from the adrenal cortex and medulla. Potassium, angiotensin 2, ACTH, and atrial natriuretic peptide, they stimulate aldosterone release via these T-type calcium channels, which is present in the adrenal cortex. Ifosfamidipine and azelnidipine, being a T-type calcium channel blocker, it significantly lowers this aldosterone level by significantly higher magnitude compared to other CCPs, be it amlodipine or be it other available CCPs like cilnidipine. So that is a big advantage, because by lowering this aldosterone level, it not only reduces the salt and water retention, but it also provides superior cardiac and renal protection, because we all know that aldosterone is the final common pathway that mediates myocardial hypertrophy and myocardial fibrosis. So in turn, it has got a reduced chance of myocardial fibrosis, reduced probability than amlodipine, and it also reduces the RAS activation. Reduction of proteinuria or renin secretion with ifosfamidipine and azelnidipine due to the same mechanism, because these T receptors, they are also present in the juxtaglomerular cells or juxtaglomerular apparatus, thereby blocking T-type calcium channel. It also reduces the renin secretion from the JG apparatus and prevents the renin and the prorenin induced progressive renal dysfunction. So these are various different mechanisms that in turn act synergistically to provide a robust renal protection that is absent with conventional L-type calcium channel blockers. As we can see with ifosfamidipine, the plasma renin activity is reduced. The plasma aldosterone shows a significant reduction in the lab models. So the implication is enhanced renal and cardiac protection, which is not present in any other available calcium channel blockers, particularly in L-type calcium channel blockers. Another important mechanism in terms of cardioprotection is that T-type calcium channels are also present in the SA node of the heart or cardiac pacemaker. So thereby it also regulate the cardiac heart rate by directly inhibiting T-type calcium channels, which are primarily located in the SA node and involved in the pacemaker mechanism. So it reduces the sympathetic nervous system activity and enhances the PNS activity. So the same benefit that is present with cilnidipine is also present with ifonidipen and azilnidipine, though by a slightly different mechanism, where the ifoni and the azilnidipine reduces the heart rate by reducing the T-type calcium channels.
পরেরটাই কিন্তু তোমার আগেরটা হয়ে গেছে, তো পরেরটাই তোমাকে আর চেয়ারপারসন হিসেবে ডাকছি না, কারণ দুটো লোক তুমি তো আগেরটা করলে তো, কারণ দুটো আছে, তিনজন চেয়ারপারসন হবে, যারা কিছু করেনি তাদেরকে ডাক। সুপ্রিয় সরকার আছে, বসে আছে, যেহেতু ডাক্তার ভাস্কর ঘোষ বসে আছে, আর তাপস ব্যানার্জি থাকলো আমাদের লোক, ঠিক আছে।
This T-type calcium channel blockers, along with SNO, it is also present. T-type calcium channel blockers, along with SNO, it's also present in the myocardial blood vessels, I mean the coronary arteries, and thereby blocking of the T-type calcium channels causes direct vasodilation of the coronary vasculature and increased coronary blood flow. So it ameliorates myocardial ischemia that is not present in L-type calcium channel blockade only. So by this mechanism, long-term cardioprotection by reducing the heart rate acting on the SA node, by improving the myocardial blood supply, by blocking the T-type receptors in the coronary arteries, and also long-term cardioprotection by blocking the, the effect of aldosterone and thereby preventing the myocardial fibrosis and hypertrophy by reducing aldosterone level. All these are present with ifonidipen and azilnidipine. And also it reduces to some extent the risk of atrial fibrillation, which has been seen. Favorable effects of ifonidipen on arterial stiffness has also been done in certain studies which has been published before. Antiplatelet efficacy of this T-type calcium channel blockers has been seen with ifonidipen azilnidipine therapy. It prevents the platelet activation, reduces the risk of vascular injury and atherosclerosis. So there are myriads of mechanisms that has been seen in the lab models and also in the clinical scenario that can confer robust cardioprotective as well as renoprotective benefit. It also has got some favorable metabolic profile. It reduces the hyperinsulinemia and improves the insulin resistance, reduces insulin resistance, improves glycemic control. Ifonidipen, azilnidipine by far has got the lowest risk of pedal edema, lowest chances incidence of pedal edema because of its balanced dilatation of the pre and post capillary vessels among all the dihydropyridine CCBs. Benidipine is also a unique molecule among the CCBs, these newer generation CCBs, that blocks all these three types of calcium channel blockers, that is L-type, N as well as T-type calcium channel blockers. And the beauty of this molecule is membrane approach, that is approach to the cell membrane. It has got a high lipophilicity, so there is a slow binding of this molecule to the binding site and also slow dissociation, resulting in slow action that causes less tachycardia and slow dissociation that ensures a 24 hours BP control. And also the other benefits of T-type calcium channel blockers in the heart, kidney, and L-type calcium channel blockade in the neurons and in the kidney, they are present uniformly in a benidipine molecule also. And it's postulated that possibly the dilatation of afferent and efferent arteriole is more balanced with benidipine in comparison to cilnidipine, where cilnidipine dilate both the arterioles in 1:0.6 ratio. Benidipine has got a uniform dilatation profile of 1:1, thereby possibly the chances of intraglomerular hypertension is least with benidipine molecule. It also stimulates the nitric oxide production and also has got various pleiotropic beneficial effects. And why benidipine should be preferred in hypertensive diabetics? One postulated mechanism is that because in diabetic patients, particularly in patients who have got diabetic neuropathy, the nerve endings are damaged, the sympathetic nerve endings. So the mechanisms or the N-type receptor blocking action of cilnidipine may not be that profound in patients who have got damaged nerve endings. And in that patients, by directly blocking the T-type calcium channel blockers, because those are not neural dependent, it can still exert the beneficial effects of nephroprotection or reduction in the aldosterone secretion that can be seen with ifonidipen, azilnidipine and benidipine, which are T-type calcium channel blockade also, which may not be seen in with cilnidipine in the diabetic patient who had got concurrent neuropathy. So these are the newer generation CCBs which are available that confers a robust not only BP lowering that is comparable to amlodipine, but also it shows a significant cardio protection, renal protection, cerebral protection, as well as a favorable vascular profile that can give long-term MACE benefit in this subgroup of the patient. Thank you very much.